Breathe out and sink. And check to see if you have all 7 bows at one moment. Whatever you need to. You might need to round your back a little more. You might need to make sure that your arms aren't collapsed, so again, they're rounded off your body. Standing postures, anything we do in Tai Chi can be a standing posture. When you're doing a standing posture, whether you do a shoot the bow, one of the other exercises we did, you want to be focusing on your structure, making sure everything is aligned up properly. When you're relaxing and sinking, again, you're letting the muscles relax, so it puts less pressure on your circulatory system, so your blood flows more freely. When we compress the body, we are putting pressure on our bones. Bones, again, are compression struts. Your bones are never older than 20 years old at any point in time. So if you're 90 years old and you say, my old aching bones, again, your bones aren't older than 20 years because they're always regenerating. The key is if you do not compress the bone or give it pressure, it won't get stronger and be healthy. So again, doctors will oftentimes say, weight-bearing exercises are so important for building strong, healthy bones, not just your diet. So when we're doing these compression exercises, and we're relaxing and sinking, we're helping to build a stronger, more flexible bone so that when you are old, your bones are like flexible steel instead of brittle and weak. So again, standing posture, we breathe in and we breathe out. Again, you can go to wider stance. You can keep going wider. Again, you can sink more. The key is the focus on, again, you can bring your feet in. The focus is on your bows in the body, the 2 in the feet, 2 in the knees, 1 in the back, 2 in the arms. Again, the hands just relaxed and soft. At the end of that movement, again, you breathe out and harmonize, and then you shake that off. Again, another key to this movement is that any exercise we've done so far, you can turn it into a standing posture, and when you are doing it, focus on those bows. Are they rounded? Are you getting your bow to be softer? So again, you can hold more energy into it, so more energy can be shot out of it. Or where is it weak? Where do you need to strengthen the bows of your bodies? Movement number 2 of the 8 Essentials of Tai Chi is called holding the ball. Again, we have a moderately wide stance. We breathe in, come up again, and breathe out, and we hold a big ball in front of us. Again, we want to check the 7 bows of the body. This movement later on is the basis for ward off and press, some other techniques you'll be learning. Again, it's building the structure of our body. If you think of your body like a building, you want it to work very efficiently, so when pressure comes into it, it goes through your body into the floor or into the ground. If your body is structurally weak in any area, that's where you end up collapsing. That's where it ends up breaking or tearing, whether it's in the musculature, the skeletal system, the tendon ligament. When you're holding the ball, again, you breathe in and you sink. And sometimes this movement is called holding the jug or holding the barrel. Think of yourself as holding something very heavy, and as you're holding that heavy object, you sink more. Again, this is an exercise that you want to learn to hold for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, build up. Again, as you learn to hold more and more energy, you develop more and more internal stability. At the same time, again, you're compressing your body, making your bone structure stronger. Again, you come down, up, and harmonize. You can actually move between those first 2 movements. You can come up, go into your standing posture, check your positions, breathe in, go through holding the ball, kind of relax for a moment, and go back to holding the ball. Again, when you want to work on lowering your stance, think in terms of holding something heavy. You breathe in and sink. When you want to work on being able to hold it for longer periods of time, this is also sometimes called holding the tree or embracing the tree. You sort of feel like you're holding onto a tree, and the tree is sort of holding you up. From the side position, you let your hips kind of sink back and down, letting your tailbone push down into the ground. So again, you don't want your pelvis forward. It wants to be down and soft. So again, your body relaxes and sinks in the ground. Again, come up and harmonize. You can keep going between those 2 movements over and over again, trying to slowly build up your time so that you again hold it for longer periods of time. The next movement in the 8 Essentials of Tai Chi is called bending the waist. This is very similar to blowing bellows from the 8 verses of brocade. In the bending the waist exercise, again, we want to concentrate on opening up the spine. I had a woman years ago that did this exercise. She'd come to me, she had pain in her shoulder. She thought Tai Chi might be able to help her because she'd gone to physical therapists, she'd gone to doctors, she'd gone to neurosurgeons, and they couldn't get rid of the pain in her arm, and she said, "It's out in her shoulder," and they finally said, "You're just going to have to learn to live with it." So in doing this exercise, bending the waist, very simply, wrists come up, palms fall, letting the back hang, letting the lower spine soften and open, middle spine soften and open, upper neck and back soften. Just in doing this exercise, after about 3 movements, again, breathing 3 or 4 times with each movement, she came up and the pain in her shoulder is gone. And she was just completely mystified by that. She said, "How can this be?" She said, "How can, she goes, I spent lots and lots of money on doctors, and my insurance has spent a lot of money on doctors." And she said, "I do this one simple exercise and the pain goes away." And I said, "Well, my guess would be," and again, you might want to verify this with one of your doctors, is that your vertebrae in your back had compressed, which is very common. We have a tendency to compress our vertebrae through tension and stress. If you work at a keyboard or work with anything that has a tension-filled job and you're sitting at a typewriter all day, or, at a grocery checkout line, and then we have a tendency to compress our spine, and that compression oftentimes will shut off our spinal accessory nerves. We have nerves coming off the spine, at different areas of the body. So I said, my guess would be that as we did this exercise, as you started letting your head relax and open and breathe, that vertebrae just uncompressed, opened a little bit, opened up the area so it took the pressure off that spinal accessory nerve, pain in your shoulder goes away. So a lot of times, even though the pain might be here in the shoulder, again, it could be coming from a different area. This is just where the manifestation comes. Again, you breathe in, let the wrists relax, and palms fall. It's again very slow movement. Bending the waist, getting the waist to be very pliable. Again, you want to try with the feet closer together, adjusting your stance. Try with the feet further apart. Let your whole body soften. Let your waist become very pliable. Again, this movement you might do 3 times, 5 times. You can hold the position and just breathe. Let your body again relax and soften, opening up the spine. Keep the knees slightly bent. Again, this is not for stretching out the hamstring. So if you feel a lot of pressure in your hamstring, you don't want to go as low. Again, bending the waist. You are connecting the legs with the upper body. Getting the waist to become soft and pliable. Then we can actually connect all 3 of those. We can start with the wider stance, breathing in. Go through our standing posture, checking our 7 bows. Breathe in. Go through holding the ball or holding the jug. Breathe in. Bring the feet a little closer together. And bending the waist. One of the things we want to work on in Tai Chi is to get our movements to become very soft, pliable, and let them flow from movement to movement. When you see somebody doing a Tai Chi form, all they're doing is they're interconnecting all the different movements they've been learning, different patterns, so they move softly, efficiently together. And there's different ways of interlocking them and interconnecting them. So again, don't be overly concerned with form or the way in which form manifests itself. Pay attention to the energy and let your body be creative. One of the things we're working on helping you do in Tai Chi is we're helping you to be a martial artist, not a martial robot. So we don't want everybody to move exactly the same and look exactly the same and be stiff. We want to teach you to be an artist, and this is the canvas that you're working and painting on. Movement number 4 of the 8 Essentials of Tai Chi. This is called riding the Tai Chi horse. Now if you remember, again, we have our horse riding stance, and riding the Tai Chi horse is where we start to take the energy and move it from position to position. All of our exercises up to this point in time have been, for the most part, stationary movements that have been pretty much in place. So now we start to move a little bit more around. Again, all these things that we're teaching you have martial applications. And riding the Tai Chi horse, if somebody who rides a horse well sticks to the horse and becomes a part of it. And so we need to learn to be able to start moving our body more and not fall off or lose our balance. When we start the movement, again, you can have a high stance, medium stance, low stance. You breathe in and you breathe out. Again, you relax and soften. We breathe in, our hands come up and they're going to stay out. Our wrists are soft, our fingers are pointing down. We're going to turn to our right, which would be your right, my left. From this position, you can see that back foot is turned, sort of like in the energy pendulum position. We breathe out and we let that weight sink on that back leg. Again, we're lining up the shoulder, the hip, and the ankle. We empty that left foot, bring it back. We breathe in. Let our knee come up as our hands come up. We don't want to bring the hands up high. They want to be out in front of the shoulder. You can see I'm pointing my toe toward the ground. As my fingers come up, my toe comes up as well. And then I bring my hands down gently, just compressing my back a little bit as my toe or heel touches. This foot wants to be empty, so I want to be able to pick the foot up. I let the wrists relax. I let the foot turn in, and I ride the Tai Chi horse to 3 o'clock. Again, I come down, filling up that left leg, emptying the right, breathe in, and breathe out. Again, your foot should be empty here, you should be able to pick it up. Relax. We're riding from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Breathe in and breathe out. Now we're not limited to 3 and 9. You want to work on 3 and 9 first. Get very comfortable with those. Again, keeping the body relaxed. You can also go to 11. And you can go to 5. That back foot, the foot that's full, is sort of the pivot point. It's sort of like the foot that's the middle of the carousel, and the outside foot is your ponies or the horses on the carousel. Again, I can go back to my square position. When one foot is full, the other foot is empty. It can move and it can adjust around. The key is as it moves around, if I move my foot, for instance, my left foot here to 6 o'clock, my right foot being my pivot point, I'm riding the Tai Chi horse all the way to 6 o'clock. The shoulders and the hands always align with the front of the body. So I can always see exactly where my shoulders are because my hands out here are my key points. My shoulders move. My arms aren't moving at all, really. It's sort of like a bird flying in the sky and the shadow sticks with it. Again, riding the Tai Chi horse. I'm going to move all the way around with my right foot now to 6 o'clock again. Again, very fluid, smooth. Shoulder, hip, and knee all move together. Again, whenever you want to come back up to your first position, come up, harmonize. I'm just going to do that very briefly from behind. Again, rotating to the right. Shoulder, hip, and knee move together as one unit. Shoulder, hip, and knee moving together as one unit. Play with this movement. Welcome back. In the second half of the 8 Essentials of Tai Chi, we're going to start with the pictogram for chaos. Now, as you start building your knowledge and your power and your harmony, your goals become more clear, your intent becomes sharper. A lot of times what you're going to do is you're going to find that you have chaos in your life. And what chaos really does is it moves us out of whatever world we're in into new worlds. So the pictogram for chaos is you take, again, your target with that arrow going through it, and then you sort of let it move off into new worlds or new streams. So you can think of this as a canyon, and you're just comfortably riding down the stream. You might feel boxed in by your life. You might feel boxed in by the roles you play. Again, you sort of feel trapped by that. But as you start having clear goals to build your energy, to build your power, to build your knowledge. Then what happens as you move through that canyon, pretty soon all of a sudden you're going to be coming out of that box. As you come out of that box, the comfortability, the solidity of your life, all of a sudden things look very chaotic. They look, all of a sudden they're no longer solid, they start falling apart. And what happens is what allows you to move into new worlds is your intent and your goals. So again, you can trust the process of chaos that is moving you into new worlds. Again, a lot of people have a tendency to always be stuck where they're at because they like the safeness of the box. Even though they don't really like their life, they don't really like who they are or the roles they play, they're really afraid of moving out of that box into the wide open expansion, the unsolidity or the infinity of what's around them. So again, learning to trust the process. A lot of great things happen when you're willing to move out of the world you're in into new worlds. All the great leaders will tell you that they have gone through lots and lots of chaos to get to where they are, but they always had a clear vision, a clear goal of what they were working towards. And whether it was a Martin Luther King moving out of the status quo into new areas of freedom, whether it's Mother Teresa moving out of the status quo into new areas of service, whether it's Gandhi moving out of a political order into new worlds or visions, or whether it's a Nelson Mandela, again, trapped in a world for a long time and moving into new worlds and creating new worlds. Again, that chaos was a necessary process of moving out of the box they were in into the new worlds, but fueled by their knowledge, their power, their harmony, and their intent. So again, interlocking and connecting all these pictograms together is what Tai Chi is all about. You becoming the Tai Chi. In the first movement of the second half of the 8 Essentials of Tai Chi, we're going to be interconnecting everything we've done so far in the 8 Essentials. This movement is called Swing Step, and again, it's incorporating maintaining our balance and our structure while we have one leg rooted, the other leg more free. We're going to start with the hands on the hips, and we're going to curl the femoral bicep, pulling the toe back, and then we let the quadricep stretch out as the toe points forward. So we're just going to let our foot sort of scuffle on the floor as we swing, working again the quadricep and the bicep, letting them work back and forth effectively and efficiently. Just get used to doing this movement. When you do this, you do not want to swing the hips. Okay, it's not swinging the hips or the shoulders. It's just swinging the step. So the foot is rooted. It's a very soft movement. Try doing that 3 to 9 times. Make sure your breath is in your center. You'll find if your breath is too high, you're going to lose your balance. Again, with the other leg then, curling the bicep, letting the quadricep stretch out, letting the foot move back and forth. It's a very nice swing, very gentle. The foot that is on the ground, you don't want to be curled out on it or curled in on it. You want it to be flat. Again, make sure your knee, your other leg is bent. So again, you have a shock absorber. If you find yourself standing up straight, you find all of a sudden you become very top heavy. So again, you want to stay connected to the ground, let your body breathe and sink. Again, from the front position, 1, 2, 3. Then try the other leg. 1, 2, 3. Now what we're going to do is after we do this, and you got that feel, we're going to actually add a lift to the swing. So we're just going to swing once, 1, and then we lift the leg. 2, touch with the heel. Put that foot back, other leg, swing once, 1, lift, touch the heel. When you're doing this movement, you do not want to force the leg up. Again, you can swing twice, and you can lift twice. 1, 2, touch. Make sure you touch. Again, the heel's empty. 1, 2, 1, 2, touch. And you're not forcing it all. Again, you can hold a ball out in front of you. So we can incorporate holding the ball into the movement. 1, 2, 1, 2, touch. When we're doing this, when we're holding the ball, again, we want to make sure we get the swing here. And the leg wants to go right up between the left of the hands. So you don't want to go to one hand or the other hand. Again, you touch. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, touch. Again, when we're doing the swing, you can see I'm kind of incorporating right in the Tai Chi horse. I'm changing my directions. When we're doing the swing of the leg, very important, do not lean back. Okay? Do not lean in. Let the body just stretch the hamstring out gently. So again, you let the leg go where it's comfortable going, and then after you're done with the last movement, touch. And then harmonize. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that swinging movement and the lifting of the foot and combine it with everything we've done so far. So we'll actually do this from behind. I think you'll find it easier to follow. You breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Turn to your left and sink. Breathe in. Now we're going to employ bending the waist. Back leg is bent, front leg is straight. Just let your head hang. Again, breathe in. Breathe out and relax. Even though I say the front leg is straight, you can see the knee is still slightly bent. I'm not locking the leg at all. We're keeping the bows in the body. We come up and we sink the weight of that back leg. The back leg should feel very heavy. We swing 1, lift 1, touch. Come up, ride the Tai Chi horse to the right, harmonize with the fair lady's wrists, come up, and bend the waist. Again, back leg is bent, front leg is straight. Although even though, again, when we say straight, we mean slightly bent. Let the head hang, breathe in, and sink. Come up, harmonize, weights on that back leg, make sure your structure's solid there. Swing, lift, touch. Come up, around. Again, you can harmonize or you can skip the harmonize and go right into bend the waist. Come up. This is almost like a child's little toddler machine where you have the hands down here to keep you balanced. Swing, we can do 2 swings. 2, 1, 2, touch. Come up, ride the Tai Chi horse, bend the waist, come up. Again, the movement is very gently, shift. You can see with the exercise, again, this whole movement is called swing step. So we are incorporating and integrating everything we've done up to this point into this movement, this exercise. So one of the keys with everything you're learning, even though you may be learning these movements as separate entities, ultimately they will integrate into everything we do, and they become the basis for the forms. When I first learned Tai Chi, I learned lots and lots of forms. I never felt any power in the forms, never really felt any real energy, the kind of energy they talked about in the ancient classics of Tai Chi. And then I studied with a man by the name of Kwan Sai Hung, who actually grew up in a Taoist monastery. I did a lot of intensive seminar training with him. And I started learning a lot of these essentials, and I thought, wow, this is where the power lies. It lies in getting the structure properly established, letting the energy flow through the body. Then once you build this power in the body, then when you start interlocking and connecting these movements together, then the real Tai Chi, what you're trying to build within yourself, really starts to occur. So again, I encourage you, don't take these essentials lightly. Really take your time with them. Let your energy build, because it will accumulate over years and years and years of study. Okay, this next movement goes back to sort of a different feel. It's called Carry the Tiger Up the Mountain. We go to a wide stance again. And the first thing we do is we come up and we breathe in and we go into holding the ball. Now from here, from holding the ball, we breathe in. We're going to reach down, so we bend down lower. We let our waist bend. So we let our waist bend. I'm letting my hips, my tailbone push back and down into the floor. So I'm not leaning over. Again, I'm pushing down, squatting down. I reach down and I scoop up, letting my palms come together like this. And I breathe in, almost like support the sky, coming up to the sternum. Now when we do this, we don't want to have the shoulders crunched up. We want the shoulders to relax. And we still want the bows underneath the arms. Still the bows in the back and the feet. We turn the hands over. Both palms are down. And we breathe out and we sink. So both hands come out together. Right hand comes back. Again, you can mirror me using your left hand. And out. Opposite hand comes back. And out. Hands soften. Palms face you. Split. And come down. Can you breathe in? And sink. Reach down. You can transfer the hands. You can have the left hand on top one time. The right hand on top one time. You start with your right hand, then your left hand goes back first. When you're going back, the elbow leads. Separate. Harmonize. You can harmonize at any point in time in the movements. You can see how the movements shift from inward circles to outward circles. This time again, the right hand will come back first. And as it comes back first, the elbow's leading, but as I get back, I'm going to turn the palm over like we did in energy arms. And then let it turn back. And turn. Feel it with those rotators in the shoulders. Split. And down. Come back up. Grab the tiger. Lift him. And carry him up the mountain. Again, hand comes back. Palm turns over. Comes back. Palm turns over. Split. And down. Again, as you're doing this exercise, you just want to keep thinking in terms of incorporating all the concepts you've applied so far. Opening the body up. Compressing the body. So we're compressing it more. You can let your feet turn out. Come up. Breathe out. Again, tailbone going back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Grow longer arms. Come up and down. Breathe in. You can go to a closer stance. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Again, let your breath act as a pressure valve. You come here by breath, and you leave by breath. So always foster the breath. Always get the body to work more efficiently and effectively, smoothly. So again, your body, you don't have to fight your body. Most of the time you have to fight enough other things in the world without having to fight this. This should be your tool. The martial arts, they say, you are your greatest enemy. And the reason you're your greatest enemy is because when you wake up in the morning, if you have a hard time getting out of bed, you have to fight yourself. You don't want to fight yourself. You want to foster this. So this is a tool to help you navigate through the different worlds, the different roles you play on a daily basis. And as you bring tension into it, you want to use this to get rid of that tension and ultimately be that Tai person that you can walk into any role in your life with your heart wide open and your arms outstretched to embrace those around you, moving from a loving intent to nurture and empower, using your knowledge to shoot people upwards, and promoting harmony wherever you go. Now, this is movement number 3 of this series, or movement 7 of the 8 Essentials of Tai Chi. And this is called rooting. Now again, the concept of rooting is like a tree driving its roots down into the ground. We want to get longer and longer and deeper roots that go out and expand down. One martial artist used to say, you want to pretend like you're shooting photon torpedoes down into the ground to get down lower. So again, whatever visual image helps you to get the concept of rooting into the ground is what you want to use. And again, this is a very pragmatic tool or toy. I have a student who actually won Defensive Player of the Year here at Sequoia. And she's very solid, does lots of Tai Chi. She just is solid. And she has a very, very strong root. Another student who was the opposite player of the year, funny enough, she did the Kempo program, which is a much more moving, forward more of an assertive, aggressive type program. Now the rooting, I'm going to do this from the rear position. It starts off with the standing posture, the low standing posture. Again, you want to adjust your stance. Again, you want your knees to feel relaxed. You breathe in. And as you breathe out, you turn to your right and sink. Again, you breathe in, and you turn to your left, and you sink. Keep the shoulders relaxed. If your fingers get tight or tense, again, you want to shake those out. And breathe in, and sink. I always think of this movement like the wheel on the ship, to turn the ship to the right and the left. Very common mistake on this movement is that when people turn to their right, they let their left knee start to collapse, and you do not want to do that. You want to make sure, again, as you turn to your left, do not let your left or right knee collapse in. You want to make sure that as you turn, let your knees push out in opposite directions, opening up the pelvic girdle. The largest muscle in the body is your glutes. Okay, you have a gluteus maximus, medius, and minimus. And that glute muscles, those glute muscles run laterally. And so when you're squatting, those are opening up. The glute muscle is really where you get a lot of your spring and push for your upper body. Again, it starts in your feet, spring, but it comes through that glute. And if the glutes are really tight and locked up, you don't get as much explosive power. So with this exercise of rooting, and again, you can do it with a higher motion, but again, we're doing it from the standing posture. With the rooting, we're letting those relax and stretch. We're stretching them this way and this way. We're stretching them both directions, linearly and laterally. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Again, very simple exercise, but again, it ties in with everything else. You always want to work your root when you're working your high stances. If you feel your high stances are getting really wobbly, go back to your rooting exercises. Once your rooting is really solid, try to go back and feel that same rootedness when you're doing riding the Tai Chi horse. When you're doing your swing steps. So again, instead of feeling yourself all off or having to throw your hips, everything should just be a very gentle movement. It just floats up. Never force any of your body with any of your movements. Let them just naturally be able to move efficiently and effectively. You don't want, again, to have any acceleration muscle tears where your muscle accelerates too fast and your opposing muscle can't go that quick, and so it pulls. Years ago, when I did a lot of weightlifting, I did a back fist that was really quick, and my bicep pulled. Luckily, it wasn't a really bad pull, but it was enough that it dropped me and I had to grab my arm because, again, I didn't understand the principle of opposing forces. And so, again, if you're working with any kind of weightlifting or any kind of strength training, make sure that, again, you're always thinking in terms of the opposing muscle and how that muscle works together so you don't have any acceleration muscle tears. The last movement in this series of the 8 Essentials of Tai Chi is called Ascending Dragon. And it also sometimes is called Ascending Tiger. Sometimes in the martial arts, we get very caught up with what we call things or name things. And again, what the name is isn't as important as what is the goal of the exercise. How well does the exercise or the technique help you direct your energy to achieve your goal? Again, every martial art, whether it's a Korean art, a Japanese art, a Chinese art, sometimes they'll do the same things, the same basic techniques, but they'll call it different things. And then we argue about what we should call it. Again, call it whatever you want. What are you creating with it is what's more important. Now with Ascending Dragon or Ascending Tiger, this is again a dispersal exercise that we do at the end of the movement. Again, we start with our fair lady's wrists, or sometimes it's also called crane hands. Sometimes it's also called a soft palm. As we bring the wrist up, we bring our knee up. And we just shift right to left. Again, you can shift back to the front. Knee comes up. Knee comes up. Again, very soft movement. We can actually walk with the movement. We can incorporate riding the Tai Chi horse. You can see this movement actually was in riding the Tai Chi horse. You can walk 3 steps one direction. You can actually shift and turn in the process of walking. You can do a harmonizing movement in between. I'm going to ride the Tai Chi horse all the way to 6 o'clock. Come down, and then go through ascending dragon. Again, we can walk around a circle, turning the foot slightly in. The key is to start moving the energy in different directions. And while you do that, not falling into it, but having that stability to where it's light and fluid. Again, you want to be like an oak tree. You want to be solid, but you also want to be like a willow tree, very fluid as you move from position to position. Again, you're making your bone structure stronger. Again, bones are compression struts. Your muscles are continuous tension members, so you're getting them to relax and work more efficiently and effectively, working together. Your tendons are discontinuous compression members, so we relax, we're making those tendons stronger. They're the cables of the bridge that keep the bridge from falling to the right or the left. We're permeating our body with oxygen. At the heart of death is a lack of oxygen. Whether the heart can't pump it, the blood can't deliver it, the tissues can't absorb it. Again, you come here by breath and you leave by breath, so you want to foster the breath through every part of your body. Jack LaLanne says that, and again, if you're not familiar with who he is, a very famous fitness guru, instructor. He says that if you exercise well, even if you eat poorly, you'll still be okay because you're keeping everything moving through your body. If you eat great, but you don't exercise, you won't be okay because your body ends up being like a stagnant pool of water. Nasty things grow in it. Of course, the best combination is eating well and exercising, but constantly foster your movement. We brush our teeth every day to keep our teeth from falling out. We should brush our organs and our body with these movements before we have dire health problems, instead of waiting until we have the health problems and thinking, well, maybe I should take up some kind of exercise class, which is oftentimes, again, the way we do things. We sort of do it backwards instead of, again, fostering it the same way we do with our oral hygiene as well.